Hi, this is Mia. I wish I kept a log of whether or not I listed the movies or videos, or if I, uploaded the videos. So it's better to look at the water than me and the birds and the clouds. Let's see what you can see behind me. There's some pretty clouds back there. I guess I forgot that it takes a second for it to focus and not lighten everything. The moon I heard was out earlier, and it's a little bit puffy. These aren't stratus clouds. What are they? Oh, you know what I noticed when I was traveling, in my travels, the clouds seem to reflect what was under them. And these clouds, to me, look like waves, the ripples of the water. And I noticed that, I don't know, it's like certain places, like a bunch of forest and puffy trees, and then there was like puffy clouds. Whoa, look at that bird way up there. I don't have any idea if you could see it, but I'll just focus in. It's got to be a bald eagle. Way up there. It was going sideways and then it was straight. Now it looks like an airplane. Wow. You see the wings flapping down. I love watching birds soar. Let me charge my, I'll turn it back around here in a second. Let me charge my, glasses on funny. What else is new with me? Oh, why does cars keep coming? Let me charge my phone. I had to come and warm up. I am really cold. I was trying to do some stuff. I issued a warning, and I didn't issue it as a citation. So I was like, last week someone parked there and they walked their dog, and I was like, oh, maybe it's the same people. They had a sticker pass on their car, so I was like, oh, okay, they're not in violation. And technically, they're also not in violation because they didn't, they're not using the pier, which you're not supposed to use that sticker for the pier, but they're not having me necessarily enforce that. They said something about it. I don't know. I don't like picking and choosing. It's like the same rules apply to everyone. But I was like, oh shoot, these people are coming back. They're gonna fuss if I write them a ticket. Not that. And they're from out of state. So I was like, oh my gosh, they just came here. It's like, oh, there's a trial in the parking lot. Let's go. So I just figured, you know what? Let's just let it go and just give them a warning and a map so they know that they're supposed to pay. And just especially when you don't want to say. The thing is, people exploit it and they're just like, whatever, we're gonna just break all the rules and do this and do this and do this and tear out the place and not leave when you close. And I've had this one thing after another. It's not that they don't know, it's that they don't care. So you have to use discretion, and there's people actually crazy. So you have to also, I've been told not to write tickets at all and to write warnings, and then I recently, several weeks ago, was told, okay, let's write tickets, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all, and it's use discretion. If in doubt, don't do it. And for safety reasons, you need to be careful about the repercussions, because people will, even if you didn't write it, they see something, even if it's a warning, they come and yell at you, fuss at you. You don't know what's going on. Nobody's checked from going to their house to here. No one's checked about guns, weapons, mace. You don't know. Fist. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. And it's just me and these clothes. And I try to tell someone with a similar job about the so-called law enforcement. You're writing citations. And you're telling people to leave because it's closing time. And you're telling people that this, and you're not supposed to have coolers and this and no pets. You're enforcing laws by not only telling them about the laws, informing them, educating them, but you're also writing tickets for them that causes them to not be able to register their car. And there's a human ticket somewhere, but I don't know. I guess we'll get to that later. It's the truth, though. It's the truth. You're not a law enforcement officer. You never went to academy. You're not even a Department of Natural Resources Police. You're not there's a Federal Ranger Police. You have no police training, no law enforcement training. No one even tells you how to write these tickets. And I found out something on the tickets that I saw some analysis. I was like, oh, am I supposed to do that too? There's just some weird stuff. But I feel like you're in a position where you're enforcing a law and you're citing someone for failure to follow a law, and you're sitting duck. You're out here, I say, bulletproof vests, body armor. Someone say maybe mace, something. You're out here alone in a county. I don't know how many square miles it is. Not only this island, but across the way, all the way towards the very edge of the next county where I live right now. And you're going to be out here all alone. If someone else is out here, they're not with you. There's no pairs. Usually you go to places. Looks like someone caught a fish. Or is that a ray? Or a crab. They're trying to get rid of it. It might be a crab. I keep seeing, whoever this is keeps catching something. Unless it's just like a washed cloth they don't want to touch. Anyways, the birds are catching stuff. When you go to a park, when I used to go to parks or stuff with my friend in Oregon, was it Estacada? I don't know, there's little bodies of water, Sandy River, different places they have the people dressed up like rangers or whatever, and they do the ticket, or it's $10 a car. I went and tried to get a first aid for my son. We don't have any band-aids. Oh my gosh, should I call an ambulance? I don't know. We don't know. I think that for my job, you have to have basic CPR and first aid. And then we found out, yeah, we didn't really have any proper first aid kit. Not really for us, but I guess you could share with the public. We weren't advised to do that. But yeah, you usually see them in pairs, 2, 3, or 4 people, or you see like a ranger station and there's more than one person. And so it's hard when you're out here and you see a DNR officer. You see police officers and sheriffs. You see police officers in pairs at the same site. And you'll see DNR and police get out and talk to people, whether they're checking to make sure they have a license for the DNR. And they will put on a weapon and body armor prior to talking to the person. And what we have is a walkie-talkie with a button on top that's supposed to be an alarm to have 911 actually listen to you. But when you're out here so far away from anything, if you call the police, I don't call 911. I call the regular police. Was it the police or the sheriff? It was really hard. The numbers posted over here don't work, or it's like, this is a school, you know, we're open Monday through Friday. Like, I'm like, okay, it's like 8:30 at night on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, the DNR same thing. Dispatch, we're closed right now. Like, or you have to call some other number, some civilian. Like, it's like crazy. Like, oh, this person's like in Florida, but I'll talk to you. So it's like talking to somebody isn't backup for your own company. And just like any other place, if some conflict happened or someone did pull a gun on you and you're out of your truck, or because you don't have automatic locks and a clicker, you get to run, fumble, find your keys. What are you going to do? Duck and hide and try to drive away, and then knowing that it's going to take 15 to 20 minutes minimum for the police to get here. Like, I don't know, man. When you have body armor, it doesn't necessarily cover your head or your legs or anything. Like, I don't know, your neck. Like, I don't know, man. People try to tell me you don't want it. If you were made to wear it, you wouldn't want to wear it. I know there's more than one person I know that's probably alive because of it, from being in Afghanistan as a military deployed person. And I know someone that said there was the regular body armor and there was the plates, that additional one, and they did get in some serious trouble where the people around them, at least one, died, and they were in a Humvee, some attack, or they were shot right in the, so that was an attack, that was different, someone died, and then they got shot right in the chest, probably by a sniper or something, and that body armor that heavy extra 30 pounds or whatever saved their life. They say, man, most people don't want to wear all that. You want to be strong. I'm fat. I eat raw food. I don't do well with not eating. People are talking about intermittent fasting, and I used to do regular fasting and stuff. My metabolism is so like that. I feel like I should eat regular, reduce the portions, and make sure I have the fullness. But I need to exercise more. There's a bunch of geese. Let me turn around. I need to make sure that I exercise more and that I'm just strong. However fat I am, eating raw food, fruits and vegetables, and nuts, I need to be strong. If I had to lift water bottles, if I can only lift my phone up in the air 30 times at a time, then I need to do it, because and I need to be able to run. Right now I have on one layer plus a tank top plus a long john plus a button-up shirt, short sleeve, plus a hoodie and a coat. I have 6 layers on my top, and I have some pants, some leggings and some pants, and a pair of wool socks and steel-toe boots on my bottoms, and this hat, and my sunglasses were up there, my gloves. I don't have a belt on today. I have stuff in my pockets. Sometimes I have this walkie-talkie on me, and what if you had to run like that? And not only these pants, I don't know why they make, this is supposed to be women's pants. They don't seem like they have any curvature. They just, like, right where your pelvis is, like this. Like, do they just make these, like, uniform pants this funky, like, for everyone, men and women? I don't know. That someone needs to find a model, like several models, and actually do it. So I gotta go out here on the pier in about 15 minutes so I can come back, use the restroom, and go check the gate. You'll see the sun, the beautiful sunset. You can see the colors, but you can't see it because it's on the other side. I could see it. You can't. Oh, that's the building. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Because my head is in the way. Woo. Alright, so the video I wanted to make today is about getting land and being flat broke and having the bank, when I tried to get a house, half the price, 1/4 the price of buying, 1/4 the price of rent. This house it fell through the cracks because the processor went out of town and they didn't follow through with the offers. And the offer that they said, oh, you could get such and such if you pay $30,000 cash. And I was like, I'd rather not do that. They're like, do you want me to check and see if the underwriters can pull up something else? I said, yes, please. And then they said, they tried to say that I declined. I'm waiting. I've been told multiple times by Wells Fargo that they're going to come up with these offers. Like, it was supposed to be originally a USDA loan, low-income people, 0 down payment, and just some fees. And then it turned into $30,000, which is about a little more than 1/4 of the total price of the property, which is 25 to 30% down plus the fees. I don't even know what happens to the earnest money. I know what happened to the earnest money. It ended up going to rent. That earnest money I paid would have been like a year's. I think it would have been a year's worth of mortgage, including taxes and fees and interest and all that stuff. All them 2 kinds of mortgage. They got 2 kinds of insurance for USDA. They said your credit and your income is so good that you qualify for regular conventional loans. So to do that, it's cheaper. The fees are cheaper. I said, okay. So why would I have all that? Oh, you have $1,000 something, $2,000 a month income, but we're only going to count $700 of it, and then we're going to deduct that office space that you have on the other side of the world that I don't have a lease. It's like a month to month. Like, you buy a house, you need to make some changes. You say, fine, I will pay someone to move out of that office today. I will hire a rental truck if I had to, and put it in a storage unit if I had to, or just have a garage sale. Like, if that was what it was going to take to not have to pay 4 times the rent, or 4 times the mortgage for rent, And you got to do what you got to do, because then you're going to be able to buy an office building or office condo or rent something even nicer than the closet with no windows. So I've been restricted. I've been lied to. I've been neglected and ignored. And I feel like it keeps the poor poor unless you are on welfare. If you're on a lot of welfare, you're comfortable like that, because people I know like that, where they get their income, why can they spend $3,000 to replace the carpets in a rental house? Why can they spend $700 on special paint that the manager said you had to use in order to paint your entire house? How is it that your rent is $167 a month for a 3-bedroom house with a yard and a parking spot? And why is mine like between $1,000 and $2,000 a month for a very low income person? And that family has 3 or 4 adults working or having some sort of income higher than mine. Why are they in low income housing paying $136? So, well, that's what you get for not being on welfare. That's what you get for not playing the system. That's what you get for not pumping out babies. Just one child, if I had one more person in the house where we had subsidized, would have been $550. They said they were penalizing me. So you just have one more child or have your boyfriend live with you, boom, your rent is dropping. My rent is supposed to be 3 times 1/3 my income. So the rent there between $1,000 and $2,000, let's say $2,000, they're expecting my income to be $6,000 a month. $6,000 a month? Why would I be in low income housing if I made $6,000 a month? Come on. If I made that a month, I would have been out of my student loan debt, at least part of it, and I would have been able to pay cash for a property before this boom. I feel like these people are going to come over here. So I want to take you on a journey of how, if you watch, what's his name? The Southern Oregon guy, Homestead. It's not Homestead, is it? Southern Oregon. Let me look it up. Let's make sure these people don't use the bathrooms. I'll have to stop the video after you. And I'll point it to the water again because it looks pretty. Just a second. These people are coming over here. I'm going to look up this name. Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Look it up in my brain. Pine Meadows Hobby Farm. Oh, that was loud. Is that bathroom is pretty clean, I could say. Thank God. I don't think those are regular. Those regular Canada geese. He talks about his 2 videos, and at least one of them went viral. Like one of his first viral is how a poor man can buy land, and he has to tax land. I've been looking at tax properties here, and they're like, oh, there's a reason that they didn't sell at auction, but there's a reason his didn't sell at auction. So you can look at his videos. I watched 1, 2, or 3 times, and then I don't know if he had a condensed version. I'm pretty sure I watched that at least once. And he didn't even go to the tax sale. I keep missing the tax sales. If you look at a tax sale, when I looked at the tax sale here, it was all pretty much 99, and what I saw, 99.8% LLCs and realtors and businesses and rental companies. They had bought all the properties. They had just like the same people. There'd be like a couple handfuls of people. Boom, boom, boom. There's a huge list. Such and such LLC, such and such realtor, such and such management company. And so the people that already have money and have income and have a way to get some cash, to just literally hand over cash for the deed or whatever, and you pay any delinquencies, they're going to get more. So the rich get richer. It's like Monopoly. The rich get richer, the poor get poor. I thought in Monopoly, maybe I should have shot for the moon and the stars. I thought in Monopoly, when you get Baltic and Mediterranean, you build that up fast and you keep it nice. Doesn't mortgage for much, but you get a big wad of cash. And it's not uncommon for people to land on. I mean, you can bankrupt someone by landing on Baltic Avenue. It's Baltic, right? The 2 purple ones. Boardwalk and Park Avenue, right? That one, and you're like, oh shoot, you gotta go mortgage all your properties in order to pay off your rent, and they have a hotel. But it's like the cheaper one, you're like, all right, certain person is in debt, they work hard, they always have a history of paying their rent, bought a house with cash, told the bank, I don't know how a mortgage works because I bought a house with cash. That shouldn't be, I mean, you're looked down upon if you're not using credit score and, credit history, and there's no car payment. You're looked down upon when your credit card is zero balance, when you don't owe any money. And they still, like, if you say I paid for my medical license right when I am doing the underwriting, or they're doing the underwriting, and say I did that and a couple bills, and it's like $800, so it's like, well, you owe $800, so the minimum payment's $35. So that's enough. They're going to tack on all these other things, like, oh, and then your student loan is this, so we're going to tack on all this stuff. I was like, my income is low enough that I don't have to pay, so it should be zero. So they're going to try to tell me my income was $700, and that I couldn't afford a house for $300 because I had this $45 a month credit card bill, which is not true, because I would pay it in full. They don't count your cash. They don't count, like, if you have cash on hand, they don't count. What about businesses that do Venmo and Cash App? Or if you have money there because you got gifted and you just sold stuff online, or whatever, birthday present, whatever. What if you have $10,000 in that? What if you have a crypto wallet that's like $1 million? Wells Fargo is not going to look at that. And when crypto and stocks are one thing, even I had some guys like, you say your income is such and such, but you only made such and such in January. It's like, well, it's a couple $1,000s a month, or like $3,000 a month. I was busting my butt with the census, USPS, and this. I did not qualify for unemployment in January over income, but I got laid off 2 of those jobs and ended up with a $12 an hour job. So I was like, yeah, well, if it's like that, you go where the money is. When they lay you off, you go where the money is. And I've been raising my kids since 2004 by myself, and I've been paying my dang rent in my car note, and for my school and my kids' music classes, and violin and art class and all the stuff the kids need, like clothes. We didn't get welfare on that stuff that I'm talking about. I talked about welfare that first year we were in the shelter because they forced us to, but they kicked me off because I had a legal issue that I had to take care of, and then I also had to deal with the divorce, custody of my kids. So I was in and out of court, and I had to go across the country to deal with one legal issue, and they said, you're going to leave for a few days to take care of an issue that you have to see the people in person. Therefore, you're not cooperating. Not cooperating? Are you kidding? You're not doing a job search. Yes, I am. I was in PSU job search. I don't even know why I didn't get a job. I was in there every day, and I had to rush and get my kids from daycare, and I didn't have an adequate computer or printer, so I had to stand in line. If you were at PSU a few years ago and no one had computers, it is stand in line and wait for a computer in a computer lab. And I had to use a Mac because I was like, I got to do my homework. I only got like 20 minutes. The line is literally out the door down the hall, and they had like 100 computers in there and like 5 Macs. So I'd jump on the Mac and be like, anyone using the Mac? Someone just got up, and I had to be like, I didn't have a Mac, and I had to make myself use it and print my homework and go to, because you're going to flunk out and not be a doctor. What did being a doctor do for me? Oh, it put me in a debt that just doubled in 5 years. What did that do to me? I have no patience. Oh, yeah, I do have patience. I forgot. Their insurance doesn't pay me. And they lie. You get the same insurance card with Medicaid, different programs. They don't tell you that they changed their plan, or that the plan changed. They're illiterate. They cannot read. They throw their mail away. And then they lose their insurance. Then they go somewhere, and the doctor says, oh, you can't go to the dentist because your insurance, and then I call them and say, why are you checking our insurance? Well, I'm actually a doctor. I'm not just a friend. Just because I'm a naturopath, I'm not just your friend. I'm actually a professional. I just don't have the pomp and circumstance. So what am I going to do to buy a house? I have a little bit of support from everyone in my family, but it is nothing like, let's go get it. And I missed out on so many opportunities, especially before this boom, especially when I had this regular income, especially when I knew I was having all these excess rent. Your neighbors are all on welfare, they got free rent, or on disability, or on something that's more permanent than that 1 or 2 years. That maximum they only give you 1 or 2 years. Even if you're a single person living on the street, they start to say, oh, you get food stamps for like 2 months, but you have to have a job. You go get you a job for $12 an hour when your rent is $1,500 for a studio apartment in a slum that you had to pay for parking, and you're gonna lose your food stamps and your health care. I've lost it making a tiny bit of money working part-time. They say you're over income. Well, my neighbors say don't work too much because you're gonna lose your benefits. And they got 6 kids to feed. 6 kids and 2 adults, 3 adults. There's people living in the house that aren't on the lease. Oh my God. It's probably good for them to live on the house and not on the lease, because then they get cheaper rent. And then I didn't have 6 kids. I only had 2. And I went to medical school to be a doctor and to take care of my kids. I did the math before I went to medical school. They told you how much you're projected to make the first year, second year, third year, fourth year. You took business class. They told you how to hit the ground running, which my dad had promised me that, hit the ground running thing he promised, and it didn't work. So I hit the ground. I just stomped. I would have been kicked out of the Olympics because I would have had a false start. I would have fallen flat on my face and jumped the gun. And so I ended up being working at a lab for a certain amount of money, then got laid off, then ended up working doing food samples in the Kroger store, and then got laid off and didn't apply for unemployment, which I should have. I didn't get laid off. They gave someone else my job who never showed up at work. And all the employees there complained and said, we are reporting this. And they actually reported the disparity. These white people reported people talking to me nasty, their managers, and they reported that this other lady would not come to work. It's a 6-hour shift. She'd come at the end and sign the paper and lie and say she was there 6 hours. In fact, I've seen her name, and she was there for she'd say she was there for 8 hours. She'd lie. And no, she wasn't there. And sometimes she'd come and just leave the food cart in the middle of the floor. People would complain that she doesn't put out the samples. She's not there. She lies and says she's there. And I told the supervisor, well, nobody cares because I'm not a supervisor. And when they audit her, she happens to figure out, they probably tell her, we're going to audit you in 20 minutes. So she shows up because they tell her that. They usually actually do tell you that they're going to audit you. And I was always in the store ready to go. But this lady, you call a supervisor, and this lady said she was in the blonde club, the blonde hair, blue eyes, and that she had it made. She was told by some other supervisors from a different job, and our other supervisor that we ended up getting was blonde hair, blue eye, and they didn't try to fire her. They didn't even respond. They're just we don't care that she's not working. We're paying her, and we're giving her all your hours. And it broke my heart because that was twice in a row that people took food and housing away from my children. And so then I met one of the supervisors at the Pizza Hut and said, yeah. In my mind, I'm yeah, I'm a doctor. All the kids walk by and call me the food lady. And now I had to work. And I bought a house with cash with my money that my mom left. I had 3 acres in West Virginia. And with my cars and my houses and all this stuff, my dad and my ex-husband totally screwed me over by just eliminating that stuff from my life. My Jeep disappeared. My house disappeared. My Ford disappeared. My Toyota disappeared. Literally disappeared. My items, my dad's house burnt. It got demolished, I heard. Everything disappeared. All of my personal items were in that house. Not all of them, but a lot of stuff because we moved and we're homeless and stuff. A lot of my kids' baby stuff. A lot of stuff that I bought. My stereo stuff. All that kind of stuff. My clothes, my shoes were still there. He didn't give me a penny for my stuff. And I heard he got a ton of money. I was told by my dad if we stayed in Oscoda, Michigan, that when I was married that he didn't like my ex-husband, and then he's all of a sudden he found somebody he can manipulate with money. He's telling me, oh, I live in this big 3,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square foot house, but we could throw a trailer up across the street for you guys to live in, for a family of 4. We were living in 1 bedroom and we had a twin bed. All right, I hope I post this video. Did you hear me? We were 4 people, First, I was 9 months pregnant when I got there, 8.5 months pregnant. We were allotted one room with a twin bed. And I had a 2-year-old, I was 9 months pregnant, and my ex, who was 6'3", and me, who's chunky. I mean, most people I noticed don't have twin beds when they're like 8. They get like a freaking queen size. I was like, oh, that's the real world. That was my bed from when I was a little child, a toddler. I probably wet the bed in that bed. And he didn't use his bedroom. He had built another bed / something couch room. So he didn't use any of the bedrooms. So we had 3 empty bedrooms and closets that we couldn't use. It was like not what I looked forward to. I gotta tell these people to leave. Anyways, I'm gonna show you the water. I don't know what to do with this journey. I don't know what to do with my self-employment when I'm at this job. I was told to wait here because we have an automatic gate. Instead of coming 20 minutes or 30 minutes before the gate, I have to warn them not to pay more for their parking, that not to walk in here, not to drive there. So I have a journey that I haven't discovered yet because it's still the present and not the future. Excuse me. And I need your guys' help with positive thought and manifesting and any kind of good vibe and wisdom. Any comments about that? Just thinking about the impossibleness of not being able to make it. Having a near perfect credit score. You know what happened with my credit score? I went to try to buy a house and the credit score went down because of the inquiries, and the bank kept throwing away all of my documents. I had submitted my tax returns for 3 years, three times. And I had been way past the closing date, and they're asking me again for the tax returns and all of the W-2s from last year and all of the check stubs that I already gave them. Like that, I thought, okay, they need the check stubs. Maybe they need the most recent 3. You can understand that. But I didn't change my tax. I could understand if I had amended my taxes or something. It was ridiculous. And I think what they did was got confused about having self-employment and income and being an independent contractor as a doctor under the Medicaid insurance. And I don't work for them, but I work for myself. I just happen to get paid a 1099 income from that. Because in Oregon, you can't charge them cash for a covered service. So if they could see a doctor for a pediatric exam, I can't charge them for the visit. And it's pretty strict on even charging for non-covered, non-offered from their allopathic is not always going to necessarily, even if the allopathic did prescribe botanical medicine, it's not. It's really strict on how you can even get the payment. So I was just usually giving that away. And still, I got paid, and it looked weird. It probably looked like I was shady. And I have my name very unique, my same social security card. They also accused me of having I don't even know the word, not a foreclosure. Yeah, foreclosure on a house in Michigan, where I never owned a house. I wondered what happened to my brother when he moved. Guess what? That was his personal information that they tried to say that I lied and that it wasn't on my Equifax and that I didn't disclose a foreclosure in 2011 or something. And then I try to say that's not me. Like, oh, well, it's like your processor's gone, but, well, that was longer than 7 years anyway, so, or whatever. I guess it's barely 10 years. I was like, do I need to go and investigate? Did he use my social security card and name? Because my brother's name is different. Before I had my married name, my brother's name was similar, but there's no way the social security number, the gender, and the age are way different. Like, and they're like, you're lying. You didn't disclose this, and it's not on your credit report. It's not on my credit report because that's not me, fool. So there was all these red flags. Again, turning in my timesheets, getting paid for these jobs. Oh, you started this job as a notary in 2019 and you received this income in 2020. that you made more money than you do as a doctor doing loan signings during the boom where everyone else was buying a house. Good job, you guys. I failed at it. And then they're like, we're not going to count that income. Is it on your tax return? Probably. Anything I made. I started being a notary in 2019, but then I became a loan signing agent and started getting the checks for loan signing versus a notary. So they are confused because I have a Schedule C, and I don't even remember what the taxes look like now. But I had more than one job. I had my eBay store that I was making money on. It's just too many forms of income. What they want to see somebody without my skin color. They're going to give a better interest rate. They're going to not tell you to pay 1/4 of amount of a house when you're trying to do a USDA or a conventional loan, which is 1 to 2%, or it was supposed to be 3% down, I think, or 0 to 3% down or something. They're going to want you to have a certain job for 2 years that you have the same income. They criticized me because my income went up at this job. And they could not fathom why. Like, it's like they thought I was, like, photoshopping the check stub. Like, first of all, the bank was, or the store, the job was low during COVID. Nobody was really working. I was. You can see my check stubs. I worked. But things were smaller then. People weren't working as much because people were getting sick and they were trying to figure it out. And then we got a cost of living raise, and me and the guy both got a certain other kind of raise. So it was like, okay. And the only reason we got the other raise is because they had the college interns coming in making more than us, that our experience had been here for a year. And I have a college degree in, part of my college degree in agriculture, natural resource communications is parks and recreation. Besides communications, as you know, I like to talk and communicate with others. So it was just a big mess. They want to see one bank account. They want to see one last name. I have 2 last names. They want to see one job, and they want to, apparently, if you move to another state and try to buy a house near me, that doesn't work either. They don't like seeing that you have still a job in your state and a job in this state. The same job as a foreign entity LLC, registered tax ID number, EIN, by the federal government, is still run by the same person. It's a sole provider LLC, sole proprietor clinic. And they don't want to see all that. It's confusing. I could tell you 10,000 things about myself that's confusing. And then they don't like to see you move for family reasons or for health reasons and have a job in one place and then have a job in another place. Because it's new. They're not going to count it. That's the problem. They're not going to count it. And if you got a job like I did at the end of October, because of COVID, everything was shutting down, then it's stuff they need desperation in certain areas, like picking up trash off the ground, then they're going to give you income on your W-2 for October, November, December, or November, December. And you don't even get December's really until January. So, like, what? You only made like $800 that year? Well, no. What about the year before? What about before COVID? How come everyone else can buy a house that's $500,000 with their income of $13.90 an hour? I don't know why I can't. I don't want a $400,000 house. I wanted a $90,000 to $100,000, $115,000 house. In fact, the one that we wanted sold for several thousand lower than they're lucky. Then I offered them the full amount. And another one I put an offer on, and we were supposed to write a letter saying that I'm not an investor. This is going to be a family home, kept in the family, and they chose to go with someone else. I even offered overpriced for this other house, but I didn't know the bank was going to screw me over. So I get terrified of things as I never do that again. I was in a housing program that was going to pay for us. They canceled my class and then told me that I wasn't cooperating, and it's a whole nother story through Section 8. When you could have bought a house 12 years ago, because I did all the classes. They had a class called How to Get a Job and Keep a Job, and I already had a job, and they said, if you don't go to this class, you're getting kicked out. There was like 200 apartments. There was only 3 or 4 of us that went to that class, and they were like the house women on disability or their husbands worked, and they didn't. And I actually got lowered on the totem pole for my job at the daycare because I had to leave early. And if you're already low on the totem pole, they want you to stay till close. But if you say I have to leave before close, then they hire new people that aren't even really certified, and they give them your whole shift, like your whole day. And they say, we might need you if we have a couple extra, but you lose your seniority. So I'm in a big pickle, guys. I was getting ready. I bought remnants of dark curtains in order to put them on the window. And where are the people that are supposed to be here? And I thought I was going to live in a car, and I didn't know where to live. Like, here in this lot, my work would probably fire me. I mean, you have a pass that's not open 24 hours. Like, oh my gosh. I got offered a free boat. That didn't work. That's where I almost moved. I put my stuff up and was trying to get rid of it. And then we moved somewhere that's supposed to be temporary, and we still have stuff in crates. But then I bought a whole bunch of stuff to try to be civilized, like dishes and silverware and cups, because we didn't have any cups. We had 2 mugs. We had 3 mugs, actually. I don't know, one's kind of shady. But we had 3 mugs and no cups. Nothing for water, nothing for juice, nothing for tea. And we didn't need it because we didn't have space. So we had to just keep using the same cup. And so we might mix their juice with their milk. That's kind of funky. But anyways, I'm going to head out. I got to turn around and let people know that we're closing in a few minutes. I'm needing to make this video to vent because I don't know how to do what I need to do. And I had prayed to God when I sold my house, when my ex-husband sold a house to his friend for $5,000, 3-acre, 5-room house, all electric, all had 2 wells, it had 3 acres, it had a pasture land, it had outbuildings, it had like a shed, and it had treasures under the thing. It had a player piano inside, probably worth more at the time than the actual house sold for. I said, don't sell it for that much. It's too bad. I'm selling it for cash. So at least get what we got out of it. Nope. And I asked God, please guide me to have someone just unload some land, a property, a livable property. This was a livable house. It was very clean. It was actually really clean. Raggedy, yeah, but it was, and I cleaned it, and it was already almost spotless when I moved in. Whoever had built it took really good care of it, or who was living in it before us, it was taken care of, and it had solid wood, like oak floors under those thrown down linoleum. That I prayed to God that someone would unload it, like someone's mother passed and they don't need the house and it was taken care of, it doesn't have vermin, and they just say, you know, I want to try to give someone an opportunity. Why be a doctor if I spend so much time working that I can't be a doctor? Because I can't wait for the bills to, like, if you bill insurance, I cannot wait for the insurance to make their decisions. They're getting harder and harder. I billed for the same codes for years and got paid regularly, thousands of dollars, and then all of a sudden 100% of them got denied. Look at that beautiful bird. Peace, guys.